2, 1.
1 en we zijn live.
So welcome everyone to Thriving in the Holidays with Marilyn Bradford. And today is, well, here in New Zealand, we're actually already in the 2nd of December, but in America, it's the 1st of December. So welcome to December, everyone. And I just would like to remind you all that this is being recorded. And if you do not wish to have your video or voice recorded, please turn off your video, turn off your microphone. But if you would like to ask a question, you can always type it into the chat and one of us will read that out for Marilyn so that your questions can get answered. So welcome, Marilyn. I'm so grateful that you've chosen to gift us this amazing, amazing possibility for thriving in the holidays.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here. And I just love the idea that we can thrive and not just succumb to obligations and family and duty and all of those kinds of things. Right, wrong, good, bad, pack, pot, online, shorts, boys, and beyond. So I'm going to do a few different things and give you all some home play. But first, I would love for you to just take a moment. And I'm going to ask you, what do the holidays mean to you? And who would like to volunteer?
Running around like a mad person trying to please others.
Yes. So everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, pack, pot, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Anyone else?
Spending time with the family.
Spending time with the family. And that's a kind of a charged statement, because for some people, spending time with the family is wonderful. For probably 80 to 90% of people, spending time with the family is not so great. Andrea Young wrote drama, absolutely. Anyone else? Annoying questions from family. Are you pregnant yet? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? So what is it about the holidays that make it so weird? Part of it is all the, and this is when Claudia is saying, too high expectations by my grandmother, buying Christmas presents for the kids, especially when they're little, and that can be fun. Followed by days of sulkiness on her side. You know, if we can laugh at these people, it really helps, I think.
Oh, my grandmother comes up is money for a lot of people.
Yes.
That whole, oh, I have to buy presents for so-and-so, and the expectations of presents, the expectations of how big the presents should be and who you should buy for and what that looks like, and having to put the food on the table and just spending money that you don't have.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then spending the year paying off the credit card.
Everything that is what you destroyed and created times a godzillion. Or right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pot, only, shorts, boys, and beyonds. I was going to address that later, but since money came up, it's part of what I call creating what's going to work for you. And we'll do a lot of different elements. And I've never liked the idea of budgets, but I also at one point was very much in debt. And I don't think anyone should go in debt over the holidays. So one of the things that you can do is to find gifts that are really in alignment with that person, but don't cost that much money. I have a friend, and we call our team, we used to do a podcast, we're probably going to again. She's the tea snob and I'm the coffee slut, which means that she's always looking for the best tea. And I'm like, I'll drink McDonald's coffee, it's the only thing available. But what I got for her was a tea advent calendar. And it costs, I don't know, not that much. But it was a perfect gift. So everywhere you're going into, you have to spend a lot of money, and otherwise you'll be judged, and who cares? Rather than really looking at gifting to people you care about who will receive the gift that shows that you actually are aware of them and what's going on in their world, not the latest TV or anything like that. Everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, only, choice, boys, and beyonds. Also, if you overspend, it has that, think about things you've overspent on. It has that wonky energy. And one of the things that I would like to have you all do is to notice through the holidays, anytime that wonky energy comes up, and just say, okay, what is it? What can I do with it? Can it change? How do I change it? And what am I aware of here? Oh, I'm buying a gift for someone I don't like. Skip it. Just skip it. Or I'm spending $300 on something, and that's just not, or whatever it is for y'all, euros and pounds, and I don't know all of the different currencies, but don't spend beyond, I'm not saying make a budget exactly, but don't spend beyond what you are comfortable with. So much of thriving through the holidays is about checking in with yourself. Does this work for me? Does this not work for me? So all the projections, expectations, rejections, separation, judgments, conclusions you have about the holidays, would you revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate them times a godzillion? Yes? You can unmute yourself. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. And all the projections, expectations, rejections, separations, judgments, conclusions that are put on to you by other people, can we destroy and uncreate those times a godzillion?
Yes.
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 Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Did someone have a question?
Yes, Marilyn,
Yeah.
this is Karen. Can I interrupt you?
Absolutely.
So when you talked about wonky energy, one of the things that I'm doing is that I'm kind of estranged from my sister and also from my children. So I'm doing the holidays by myself, well, my husband, and this wonky energy comes up, and I'm thinking that I'm using creating my own holiday as like a distraction from the feelings that I'm having, the loneliness, the disappointments, and things like that. So what is that about?
Well, it's partly about accepting what this reality says family should be and the holidays should be. So everything that is, would you destroy it and create it times a godzillion, right? Well, good,
Wow,
bad,
yes.
yes, boys
Ooh.
and beyonds. Yeah, I basically have the holidays by myself. I have no family essentially. And what I've learned to do, and this is what we can talk about too, if you have questions, is to create something I love. Now, and not to do the traditional thing. Now, I am going to a friend's for Christmas. She's also a single older woman. And we go out to dinner because we both love good food and wine and all of that. And she said, we were just talking about the holidays. And she said, well, I usually have Christmas with these people. She said, you know what? I'm going to have Christmas at my house and you're invited, and it may just be the two of us, but we'll have a good time. I'm like, yes, that sounds good.
No, I'm gonna head out now that she doesn't require me for bottle service.
Well, thank you very much, Marilyn, for that.
You're very welcome.
Yeah,
And
you can go play
someone
with the
wrote in,
doggies.
who's talking?
Yeah.
Is it possible to have no one around that will receive from you? Yes, it is. Absolutely. So if you can find one person, we have somebody walking around. Could you just, it's a little
Yeah, no.
distracting. Okay.
Sorry. Sure.
Yeah. One of the things that you can do is gift to organization or charity that you really like. Like, I'm big on cats, so I might make a gift to Felines and Friends. And believe me, when you gift to organizations and charity, they'll receive. They're very happy that you're being that generous. So I think that's a really good thing to do. You can also make some gifts for yourself. like buy 5 little things, wrap them up and put them on different days, or put them, like you'll wrap them. We can create whatever we like. We just get so stuck with this is how it should be. Most people don't have really happy childhoods. Well, that's true too. But most people don't really have happy holidays. They just don't, because we're all buying into, all right, it's the holidays. Now I have to fit into a role. Everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion? We're right, wrong, good, bad, puck, pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, anything come up for anybody else? Someone said, what if it's just another day? It is. It really is. What if it's a day off when you get to do anything you want to do? Everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, puck, pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds.
So Marilyn, one of the things that's come up for me this year is, like, my kids and my sister's kids are all growing up and
Right.
starting to have their own lives outside of the family unit. And so there's been some trying to keep the traditions the same while trying to be an allowance of them moving on and creating their own thing, and different people within the family, extended family, have different points of view on what that looks like and how we should deal with that. And it doesn't work for others, and it's just like family Christmas has always been just about family getting together and enjoying good food and being together. And it's actually started to change to that whole family niggly crappy shit.
Like that
And-
family niggly crappy shit.
And I'm like, this doesn't work for me. For it
Good.
to, it does. So what comes up is it doesn't work for me for that to change, and yet I desire to. I desire to continue having the ease, joy, and glory that it has been in the past, but it doesn't have to look like what it's looked like in the past.
Right.
What's my
Okay, I'm going to
question?
stop you right there, because
Yeah,
that's a
please.
really important thing. Whether it's the most romantic, wonderful time you've ever had with your partner, or whether it's Christmases from the past that were just EJG and great, you cannot reproduce something from the past and have it work. So I would invite you all to destroy and uncreate everything you've decided about what the past Christmases, holidays, and I know we have Hanukkah, we have lots of other holiday, peoples of different faith or different cultures, but everything you've decided that you have to maintain traditions and it has to be like it was in the past, you are setting yourself up for failure and disappointment. Everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, puck, pot, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. So Michelle, what does, and all of you, when I ask a question, it's for everybody. What does tradition mean to you?
Valuable is the word that comes up. Like that, yeah, traditions are valuable, and there's another word. What's the other word? Honoring.
What makes them valuable?
It keeps the connections with those people.
Okay,
Yeah.
does it actually keep the connections, or does it keep everybody playing the roles that seem to be the connections? I can't hear you. Are you muted?
Sorry, I've got two computers and I'm getting confused about which
Right.
mice I'm clicking. Yeah, absolutely. Like that, when you asked what it means to me, that's what showed up. And it's
Yeah.
like, I know that that's not actually creating greater and stuff, but yeah, that was.
Well, and it's held in place by everybody else. That's the other thing. I mean, there's the who does this belong to? But the whole holiday season has so many people aligning and agreeing that it's important. and that traditions are important, and that if you don't please these people, or you don't do this, or you don't do that, you're wrong and bad, or you're selfish, or you can't be happy, or anything. Everything that is can we destroy and uncreate at times a gazillion.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, only, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what would, and you don't have to come up with a complete answer here, but all of you, what would actually work for you that's different? And if you weren't pleasing everybody, what would that create?
Oh. I thought I was over that shit. So what came up when you said what would that create is just discomfort and unhappy, other people being unhappy.
You do realize that it's their choice.
I know, I'm not saying it's sane.
Everywhere you decided that you have to do certain things to make anybody else happy, would you destroy and create that times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, only, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, this is a weird thing to say. However, the holidays should be about what works for you, period. Now, that doesn't mean that you're nasty or mean or anything. But if you're going to really thrive, you have to be the first person you consider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense to y'all? Right, around, and you can do it in a nice way. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, only, shorts, boys, and beyonds. You tell people what they can hear. Now, this is not something that happened in the holidays, but 8 years ago, I decided to move from my hometown where my mom, who was then 90, I don't remember, 93, 94. Of course, she didn't want me to move. So I'm like, okay, what can I say to her that she can hear that she'll support me in moving? What does she care about? That I make money and support myself and that I have friends. So I said, I tell you what, Mom, you know, my friends here, and it was actually true, have either died, moved away, or didn't turn out to be friends. And I have this great financial possibility where I'm moving to, and I already have 3 friends there. So I hate to leave you, but, you know, I've really got to go. And she actually got it because I said it in a way, I said it in terms that she could relate to. Don't be afraid to lie. Telling people what they can hear is often a lie. But if you're looking to make, I mean, this whole thing about being rigorously honest, I'm really leaving, Mom, because you're annoying the hell out of me. No, that doesn't work. So if you need to do things, if you don't want to go stay with your family and you need to stay in a hotel, just, you can say things, oh, you know, Mom, I have a bad cold, or I've got these stomach issues, this digestion stuff, and I just really need to have my own room and be able to, you just find some reason, something that they can accept, because that makes it easy for everybody. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's another thing I wanted to get into, because what we tend to do with the holidays and when family stuff and all this pressure comes up is we tend to either acquiesce and kind of align and agree. Okay, I have to do the whole family 4-day thing, and we have to do this, and I have to have presents for all the nieces I don't know, and or resist and react. And that's like, no, I'm not doing that. There's a space that you can be, which is neither, because when you're aligning, agreeing, or resisting and reacting, you're always actually making someone or something greater than you. That is never putting yourself first, ever. So I'll tell a story that I think illustrates this really beautifully. I have a friend in Access, and she and her family, she had some kids, they went to, as they traditionally did, went to her mother's house for the holidays. And she and her siblings were there, her kids, her siblings' kids. And she said, we were having the most wonderful time. We were all sitting in the living room talking, maybe having a glass of wine or tea. And her mother came in and went, nobody's paying any attention to me. I organized this and you need to pay attention to me. And my friend said, Kids, get your stuff, we're leaving. Not, how can you treat us this way? Or I can't believe you're doing that again. But you know what? Thanks, Mom, but this just doesn't work for us. And they literally got in their car, had to spend the night. It was already late somewhere else in a hotel, and drove home. But she was really taking care of herself and her kids. And of course, her mother was like, oh no, don't go. I'll never do this again, but that's her mother's way of trying to manipulate. What she basically did is, without being mean or nasty, was to say, your behavior doesn't work, Mom. We're not having this kind of trauma drama, you screaming at everybody that you're not being considered and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of illustrates what I'm saying by look for any place you're aligning, agreeing, or resisting and reacting, and just ask, what other choice could I make here? And what's going to be taking care of me? Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right. Does anyone, I do love questions, because if you ask me questions, that's going to contribute to everyone. And I can then go where you all want to go. So does anyone have any questions?
Hi, Marilyn, I do.
Okay, good.
Can you see me? Okay. So I realize I actually want to flee whenever Thanksgiving, Christmas comes. I don't even want to be a part of any of the stuff. But I'm married, and my husband is very into all of it.
Okay.
And so I go to all the things, and but he and I will get into it because I'm not enjoying it the way he wants me to.
Mhm.
And so I was just curious, like, I've already put it out there. I wonder what I can do next year to just not even go. Because last year we bought our house and we didn't do anything because we moved in. So we were just too busy and too chaotic. And I thought it was the best year ever. And for him, it wasn't.
Yes.
So for myself, I'm like, oh, what would that be like again? But I guess my question is, I know that's not possible this year.
Whoa.
Oh,
Don't
shit, that's not a question.
discount the possibility of anything, okay?
Okay.
Because then we stick ourselves. So what else were you going to say?
True. So, okay, so I'm not going to say that. So for this year, besides destroying and uncreating everything, because I feel it feels very loaded for me. It's like my whole past comes into every holiday, every December.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't get a lot of joy out of any of it, because it is a lot of drama between my mom and my mother-in-law. And it's very consistent every year. So I guess my question is, besides destroying and uncreating, I did that, destroyed all my projections, expectations, and everything for Thanksgiving. I still found myself in the middle of it, like, fuck, like, but I couldn't, they came to my house. So I was like, and I'm told that my face shows everything. So then people were upset because I wasn't happy and joyful. Am I making sense?
Oh, you're making total sense. And that's a lot of people's experiences. Absolutely. So everywhere you decide you have to please anyone, whether it's your husband or your mother or mother-in-law, would you destroy and create that times a gazillion?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, top, bottom, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Is your husband open to a discussion along the lines of, look, this is an area where we're just different. I'm never going to be happy doing this family holiday thing. So please quit trying to make me. I'm happy for you to enjoy it. I mean, you could, I don't know the relationship, so I don't know what words might work or if he'd even be open. But I would try to have a conversation with him saying, it is stressful that you want me to enjoy something I don't enjoy, basically.
Yeah, we've had that conversation before, but I think his response was, yeah, but it's really hard for me because my mom makes it a thing. So
it's not your issue, you know?
Right.
I would seriously consider not going to everything, planning a spa day for yourself. Now, you're going to be judged. So
Right.
you have to be okay with the fact that people are going to judge you. But you see, like what your husband's doing, what the family seems to be doing, is they're manipulating you through guilt. And it's not about you. They don't give a rat's ass about you. What they
Right.
care,
True.
what they care about is that you put on a happy face and make them feel good. When we put expectations on people, it's for ourselves. It's never about them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you don't please everyone and do all the things, what does that bring up for you?
Just fights.
What if you don't fight? That's that whole thing of aligning, agreeing, and resisting and reacting. What if you don't fight?
Oh, wow. That's spacious.
Yeah.
I'm just having a picture in my head of the fight coming at me and just being like, oh, okay.
I can see
That's
you're
different.
angry and you want to fight, but that doesn't really work for me. And if you keep it up, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very spacious.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's the fighting and once again, this aligning and agreeing and resisting and reacting show up in so many different ways. But it's that not honoring yourself. Michelle, I think, talked about honoring traditions, which I think is not so cool. But anyway, honoring yourself to know that you really don't need to satisfy their expectations.
Okay.
They're just doing a power trip on you.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
how do you, I know we're not supposed to use the word feel and access, but how do you feel during the holidays?
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah.
I feel very like when you said, what does the word tradition to you mean? I don't have the positive, like, it's like we have to do the same exact thing
Yeah.
every year. Cause it's just like a lot of, I want to say the word need is
Yeah.
projected, like I'll go over my mom's and if we're there for 4 hours, it still wasn't enough. So it doesn't matter what we
Right.
do.
And
There's,
you can even say things like that. Mom, I realize that with you, nothing's ever going to be enough. You can call a spade a spade.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah, it's always been, the holidays have always been this, just even when I was little, it was just basically just everybody telling you what you're going to do. And you're just like, oh, I don't want to do it. And then I could perceive all the people I was around. There was so much other like people that didn't want to be there either, but nobody wanted to
Right.
say it. That's
Yeah.
what I feel a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I mean, something truly radical you could do. Where do you live?
I live in Ohio.
Ohio. Something truly
Mhm.
radical you could do is just say, you know what? This so doesn't work for me. I'm going to go to, I don't know, Philadelphia or Florida, and I'll see you all in 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
How does that feel?
That feels amazing.
Yeah. And yes, you're going to get judged and you might create a change in your family. I mean, I don't want to tell anybody, you're the one who has to choose.
Right. Right.
And I don't know. I'm pretty sure that would create a lot of anger and everything. And so what? Like my friend and her mother. And her mother's changed, apparently. The more we honor ourselves, the more we actually give other people a chance to change. Nobody can change in your family right now. Everybody's playing out the role, the script. Obviously, your family, and a lot of families do have a big script, and that's what everybody's playing out. Does that make sense?
Right.
The
Yeah.
only way to change it is for you to step outside of the script and say, essentially, in words or not, the script doesn't really work for me. So I'm going to go do this. Love you all. Have a great time. And if you want to judge me, that's fine too.
Wow. Okay.
How is that?
Yeah. It's just different than what I've ever heard.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, And like, cause even like everybody I know, all my friends, my girlfriends and everything, when I say something like that, it doesn't ring true for them. They're like, what? That's so weird.
Yeah, exactly. So be willing to be the weird different that you are.
Yeah.
That's what'll make it work.
Awesome.
Otherwise,
Thank you.
You're very welcome. No, I was thinking of so Thanksgiving in America is this big holiday. It was last Thursday. And had a friend coming in. He and his mom are coming in. He's doing a 3-day body class starting Friday. So I said, because I hate Thanksgiving. It's a horrible meal. Everybody eats and drinks too much. You feel like a slug afterwards, and nobody is happy or grateful. So I said, hey, y'all, and mom and they get along really well. I'm going to make a reservation on Thanksgiving at my favorite steakhouse. We had so much fun. And people didn't, like my friend came down from where she lives about 45 minutes away. She didn't do the whole holiday thing that she traditionally does in her town with people she's known forever. Same kind of thing you're talking about. She said, best Thanksgiving ever. Because nobody had an agenda. We were just all happy and had a really good time. And everywhere you're unwilling to create what's going to work for you during the holidays, and it's different for everybody. I mean, like Dr. Sarah was saying, you know, she has a family that's a nice family. So they're getting together and that can be really fun. For me, with no family, essentially no family and friends, it's like, why would I do all this other stuff? You know, but here's the other thing. Once again, without aligning, agreeing, and resisting, reacting, ask yourself, are there some things that come with the holidays that I really enjoy? Like I really enjoy a certain kind of decorating. I probably won't have a tree, but I've done the outside of my house. I bought some little pine trees, and we have ristas in New Mexico, which are red, that are chilies, like strings of chilies. I put those up. And people could say, well, Marilyn, you know, you're not going to see a lot of people. I'm like, I don't care. I'm doing this for me. It's so cheerful when I come home. You know, I see all of these decorations and I just feel good, you know, and I created it because that's fun for me. I like Christmas carols. If there's a concert, I'd probably go to that. A lot of the things I don't care for, so I don't do them, you know. So it's really about looking at what works for you. Does that help, Andrea? Everybody? Anybody?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Decorating my home brings me joy. I love doing, yeah, decorations can be really fun, and it's a chance to be creative and, you know, tap into that fun artistic part of you. Okay, does anybody else have a question or just want to talk about what goes on for them? Yes, no?
Myself, I find that since I found access and I use the tools and get my bars ran and all that stuff, I find that learning to just be me.
Cool.
And I don't, if other people talking about something and want to do this or that, I'll just silently say, interesting point of view, you have that point of view. Use my tools, because I don't necessarily have to agree with everybody else.
No.
And they don't have to agree with me.
No.
My husband says something to me and I don't agree, interesting point of view. You know,
You
he
say that
likes
to yourself, right?
to it myself, yes.
Yes. Because when we say it to another person, it comes out sarcastic.
Definitely. And I know, like, his thing is watching the news all day long. Very depressing. So I choose to watch, you know, stuff like this.
Right.
You know, because that brings me to finding Marie. And
Wonderful.
I don't have to get caught up in the rest of the world's society. And for Chris, if we just stay home and relax and do our own thing, it's okay. It's just like somebody said, it's just another day. And we have blessings. We have chats with the children and grandchildren and that, but it's totally okay. Life is good if I allow it to be good. Thank
And
you
honor
so much.
yourself. It seems like you've really chosen a lot of great things for you.
I
And when we
try.
think of things, we don't mean material things, but using the tools, honoring ourselves, not needing to please other people. That's awesome. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you so much for having this. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what's on. Can you give some tips for people who are struggling with overeating or drinking too much or overspending, like using shopping as a coping mechanism? Well, the first thing I want to say is have a little allowance for yourself. This is a stressful time of the year for most people. So if you are eating a little bit more or, drinking a little bit more, please don't judge yourself. No, I'm not saying, don't. Here's what I use or have used for various things. Try not to do anything that's going to be damaging to you. If you overeat a little bit, well, January, you can, do more exercise. If you want to drink, fine. Just be very aware. You don't want to be driving drunk. Hangovers are no fun. But if you want to have an extra glass of wine when you get home from this, if that helps, have it and don't judge yourself. This is not the time to impose rigid restrictions on yourself. It's a time to be kind to you. Does that make sense to people? And the spending, I think I addressed a little bit earlier. Just keep asking questions. Okay, what else could I get for this person? Or do I really need to give a gift here? And you can always give to an organization or charity you like. I've known people who've done that and they just send a card that said, I made a donation to the Children's Hospital or to whatever, the Nature Conservancy or whatever works for you. And if they don't like it, too bad. You're expanding their universe in a way if they'll take it. Because what you're essentially saying is Christmas tends to be about I, me, I, are you doing for me? Are you cooperating with me? Are you giving me stuff? And what you're saying is I'm gifting to something beyond just the I, me. I'm gifting to an organization or a charity that looks beyond that and actually contributes to people or animals or the environment or whatever it is. Everything that brings up, can we destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, only shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right, does anyone else have a comment or a question? Okay, one concept I want to talk about is the whole thing of it's not personal. Now, what does that mean? That means your mother and mother-in-law are going to fight, or actually, let's not use that example. If like my mother was incredibly critical of everyone in the family. To everyone outside, she was this nice, kind of compliant, fun lady. But she would criticize the bejubies out of us. She used to tell me, I only criticize you so you know what you can fix. It's just like, but what I finally realized was, it wasn't about me or my dad or my sister. It was about her need to have an image out there where she was so wonderful and so nice to everybody, and everybody thought she was great, but she had to have a way to express that anger that was seething inside of her. So she was nasty to us. She was very nasty to my dad, but it wasn't personal. When someone criticizes you, it's about them. It's not about you. When someone judges you, we always tend to assume that we've done something wrong, that somehow if we just change this or we change that, then they wouldn't treat us that way. If they're nasty, they're probably nasty to everybody. If they're critical, if they're judgmental, it's one of the, I learned this, and Gary and Dane did an amazing abuse class I don't remember how long ago, 3 or 4 years ago, but that's when this came out, that people who abuse other people, the one who's been being abused thinks they're wrong. They've done something bad. It's the other person's need to have power over. And if it wasn't you, they'd do it to somebody else. So if you can really get that this is not personal, nothing somebody else does is really about you. It's their aligning and agreeing or resisting in reaction. Does that make sense? It's kind of a big concept, but I think it's really an important one. Comments, anybody? Is everybody already kind of,
Well, you kind of just like blew my brain. I mean, when you mentioned your mother's example, you said that she gave this image of being nice and, you know, very kind person to the outside world, but what she did to you in the family was like venting all her, pretty much like her anger that has been repressed. Is that
that's
what you
exactly
said?
right.
Just,
Yes,
okay,
she
let me
was
just
angry.
Okay. Sorry, because I'm translating. And
Of course.
that she was being mean to the family because she knew that family would stick together no matter how she treated them.
Yes, yes, exactly. This was the 50s and 60s.
I guess this still runs true in Latin America. Like, you know, family has to put up with however nastiness they show you. You know, it's like, doesn't matter how nasty, but they're your family, you have to put up with them. It just brought that up for me. So thank you for that, because that just like liberated me from a lot of situations that I put up in the family just because they're family and you have to put up with them.
Yes.
So how do you become interesting point of view, or just get up and leave, basically? That would be.
Yeah, well, it's once again, it's about, so all of the, go ahead, translate. What jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared to create your slavery to family that you've been buying and your entire life? Everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, puck, putt, online shorts, boys and beyonds. One thing to remember, your body is related, well, generally, I mean, there are people who are adopted, but essentially, your body is what's related to your mother and dad and siblings. It's not your being. Your being has no commitment to those other beings. Does that make sense?
Totally, because I've always felt like I was, I mean, I know I'm not adopted because I really look like my cousins, but I was just so different. It's like, I mean, how, I mean, like no relationship at all.
Exactly. That's, you are acknowledging that your being is different. Okay, let's, do we separate our body from our being? Well, sometimes, yes, but also we misidentify, like in this instance, that because our bodies are related physically, physiologically, that means our beings are related, if their beings have any obligation to these other beings. And they don't. What if you could really get clear that you don't owe your family anything? And not in a resistant and reaction way, just oh, this is just a group of beings that have bodies that I'm related to, but actually that's it. I don't need to align and agree or resist and react. I can just be me and choose for me. Does that make sense? I love your trees, Sarah. It's so cheerful. All right, anybody else?
Yeah, can you talk about like, so when I go to that place of acknowledging that my family are bodies that are related and separate beings, there's still this overlay of like blame, shame, regret, and guilt that come in to that, where it's like, well, I'm a terrible person or I'm a bad person if I don't relate to my family. Can you kind of say more about that, or talk
Yeah, how much have they
give me some help?
projected that onto you? How much are they
Yes.
controlling you with their projections that you're a bad person if you don't do what they want?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything that is, right,
totally.
wrong, good, bad, puck, put, only, shorts, boys, and beyonds. When someone tells you you're being selfish, what it really means is you're not pleasing me the way I want you to please me.
Mm.
Remember, people only accuse you of what they themselves are doing. Now, I don't know how much access everybody's had. I know some of you have had a lot, but there's a thing in access called distractor implants. Anger, rage, fury, hate, blame, shame, regret, and guilt, addicted, compulsive, perverted points of view, and it goes on. But those are the ones that tend to relate to family more. And essentially, if you've ever been around a real infant, do they have blame, shame, regret, and guilt?
No.
No, not at all. They're not going, oh, my mother's tired. I don't want to have to cry for food. I'm going to leave her alone. They're like, I need food. What if we could operate more that way? I mean, obviously we have, but from the awareness that these things are implanted into us by family, by church, by culture, so that they can control us.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You're a sinner. You're not being loyal to your family. You're this and that. It's just a way to control you and nothing else. Oh, good. We can implant these things into people and that'll let us control them. Because otherwise you're out of control. They can't manage you. They can't put you in that box. And they don't know what to do.
Wow.
You just flip them out.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I think there's something else. Oh, can you talk about desiring to save family? What ESCC MMMP can you and your body be that would allow you to drown and mutilate everybody in your family with total ease? And everything that brings up, can we destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion? Right, wrong, good, bad, puck, putt, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
Can you repeat that, please?
Maybe. What ESCC MMMP can you and your body be that would allow you to drown and destroy all your family members with total ease? Right, wrong, good, bad, puck, putt, only, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, why am I saying that? Often when we have something like we need to do good, we need to save, what we're really doing is not being willing to acknowledge that we really hate these people, or it doesn't even have to be that strong, that this just isn't working, but I don't want to be seen as a bad person, so I'll try to save them. You know, there's nothing wrong with just don't act on those thoughts. That's the thing. But there's nothing wrong with, you know, every once in a while, I'll come out of an access class where I've wrist expanded and I'll get on the plane and it's like, I wish I could just like annihilate everybody. Because what you're coming up against in these things is a greater awareness, and you're seeing what people are choosing. And saving, it can come from a desire to help people, but it never works. It never works. And if you can really acknowledge everything that you're aware of and every desire you have and not make it wrong, you can give yourself so much freedom. And that's what it's really about, is giving yourself freedom. And just being aware, well, I'm not going to do that because it'd kind of be a mess. But it makes me know, wait a minute, this is wonky energy, back to that. But what that also brings up is this idea that we can change people. You know, if Uncle Jed's an alcoholic and mom is critical and your sister's just penurious, you can't change them. Give it up. They're making their choices. And if they desired to change, they would change. But how much energy are you using to create the saving, which you know is futile, are you choosing? Everything that is, can we destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion? Or right, wrong, good, bad, pot, online shorts, boys, and beyonds. It's like hitting your head against the wall. Does that make sense to people? Yeah. Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, online shorts, boys, and beyonds. We don't want to look at that, what's considered the dark side, but what if that was kind of what made us whole? What if that was something that gave us more choice? Oh, that's there. I mean, I became very aware of that when I found myself almost being unconscious of how I was treating people, like getting in the grocery store line. And if I'd had a difficult day, I was just, I'm like, you got other choices, Marilyn. Or pretending to be happy when I'm not. I remember once at a 7-day, Chris Hughes came up to me and he said, this was in Lancow. He said, how are you doing, Marilyn? And I said, I'm grumpy today. And he just laughed. He says, I hope you're magnificently grumpy the whole day. I said, I will be, or at least for a while, till I choose something different. So it's that whole thing of having to be nice, having to be kind, all of that, which really doesn't get you anywhere. Everything that brings up, can we destroy it and create it times a godzillion? Yes, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, so we're coming sort of to the end, and I want to go over, and please, if you have questions, I am happy to answer them. What I would encourage you to do is to make 2 lists. And they're basically, what do you require to have ease, joy, and glory with the holidays? The first list is in regards to what's outside of you, essentially. You know, what are you willing to be and do and not willing to be and do when people are projecting and making demands on you? Like I used to tell people, you know, if you have to go home for the holidays, stay at a hotel. Oh, my parents would hate that. Make up something. I've got diarrhea. I need to take care of myself and rest. It's too noisy here. But find out what can work for you and what really doesn't work for you, like maybe staying in your family home or going to 18 different events. Pick 3. So that's about what's going to work for you in the context of all these other people. The second list is what makes you happy and keeps you sane. That can be bars, nature walks, going out by yourself for a nice meal, doing a holiday thing different. But if you do this ahead of time or now, or I mean like right now that we're on this, but if you're willing to do this, it kind of gives you something to refer to when you get sucked in or lost. I do this all the time. Okay, I have to look at my list. Oh yeah, I can listen to an access class. I can take a walk. I can play with my kitties. You know, I can even go out and have a nice meal. I can go buy a half bottle of wine. I can, you know, that's just, and then it can give you a sense of space. Like it's basically you having your back rather than going into the whole thing out of fear and unconsciousness. You do not need to be a victim of the holidays. And it does take some planning. It really does. For you to have your back, for you to choose what's going to work for you. Any questions about that? Okay, a couple of tools right here. Interesting point of view is a great tool. Really. Okay, interesting point of view. I'm having a point of view about my family. Interesting point of view. And just keep doing it. Once is not enough. I need to take a little walk around the block. Interesting point of view. I'm having a point of view here. Interesting point of view. I'm an infinite being. I don't need to have a point of view. What's possible beyond anything I've imagined here? What can I be and do to create greater for me? Here's a question I ask a lot, particularly around the holidays, or I used to, because I'm pretty clear on it now. Whose universe are you in? My universe, their universe, because that will trap us every time. Am I in my universe or am I in their universe? And if you're in their universe, that tends to be what creates all that sense of I'm wrong, I'm bad, I have to please them, because that's their universe. She's wrong and bad, or he's wrong and bad, and they need to please us. They should be doing this for us. I'm important, they're not. That's essentially a lot of people's families' universes. So everything that is, right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POT, online shorts, boys and beyonds. Get used to, there's nothing that you can do. This goes back with people who are who they are. You can't save them or change them. Just acknowledge that a lot of people are going to judge you. So what? It doesn't mean anything. It's just their point of view. Oh. And it's just acknowledging, oh yeah, mom needs to judge. Oh, I'm not doing what they want, so they need to judge. Oh, well, never mind. See, if you can really get to that space and you don't give anybody what you're doing, usually with judgments, what we do is we're like this fly paper and people throw judgments at us and it stick to us. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. If you're willing to really be interesting point of view and see judgments for what they are, just somebody else's point of view, and you get a space, if you can be that space, then they can't stick to you. And then guess what? Who's in charge of your life? You. It doesn't have to have any, what do I want to say? Impact on you. It's just, oh, that's interesting. You know, the sidewalk's dirty. Does that have to impact you? No, you step over it. A couple is fighting. Does that have to impact you? No. So, oh, that's their fight. That's their stuff. You can do the same with family or other people who are judging you. Oh, that's just like a dirty sidewalk. Oh, well, never mind. It's not my deal. So let's see. Anything else? Don't host anything unless you're very sure the people will be EJG. And just say, you know, I've not been feeling too well. I don't think I can do that. And above all, it's really taking care of yourself and honoring yourself. Isabel said, people will be what? I'm not sure I know what that means. Oh, people will be ease, joy, and glory. Yeah, if you're going to host. Oh, I thought I said EJG. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. But in other words, if you're going to host something, make sure, like I hosted this Thanksgiving meal. It was so fun. But I knew all the people would be happy there. Don't set yourself up to be around people who are not happy, if you can help it. And particularly don't have them to your house or your place, or, you know, because that's no fun for you. And they know ahead of time, boy, am I going to ruin this? They may not know it. I mean, they may not admit it to themselves, but that's what they're doing. I'm going to go in and ruin this and show how powerful I am because they think they're happy. And you know what? I'm going to show them they can't be. Not happening. And you always can get up and leave. So everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POT, online shorts, boys and beyonds.
Thank you so much for that, Marilyn. I'm hosting Christmas at my house this year, and
Wow.
You saying that has just given me that clarity about what that energy is. And now that I have that clarity, it will be EJG for me, because I'm just like, oh, look, there's that energy again. Cool. Have fun with that.
Sorry you're so miserable. I'm happy. Be happy. That drives everybody crazy.
Wow, how does it get better than that? I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you too. All right, anybody have any last comments or questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for being on the call. Thank you, translators. Thank you, Michelle, for putting this on.
Hi.
And,
I do have something I'd like to say.
Okay.
I noticed the translators, they're amazing because they're like actors. It's like, you know, when you're saying, oh, fly, well, they're good. They're doing in their language. And it's so amazing because we see the energy that they're transmitting, and they're really truly into your words and into what you're expressing. So kudos to you guys. And
Thank you
They
for
are
that.
amazing.
everybody.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
translators are amazing, and it takes a really special talent and ability and capacity to do that.
So thank you everyone for joining us. Marilyn's got some more classes coming up in January. If you guys would love to have some more ease and space and joy, we've got the clearing the addiction to poverty, so that you can have the wealth that you truly be. We've got Right Recovery for You introduction, followed by the full Recovery of You with Ease class. And those of you who love Right Recovery and would love to facilitate classes, we've got the Right Recovery for You facilitator training coming up in February. So I'll put all the details of that in the email. And if you'd like to come and join us for those, I know that they will be changing my world. And I look forward to having some of you guys join us for those as well. But thank you, Marilyn. This has been a phenomenal class.
What are
Isabel,
the
did you want to say?
exigences? I don't you know, like if you want to take the Right Recovery for You, like I don't know what you call it.
So I'll put a link in the follow-up email to that class, and all that is listed. Or you can go to accessconsciousness.com/Marilyn Bradford, and the class is listed there already.
Or MarilynBradford.com.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and actually the Recovery of You with Ease class has no prerequisites. If you want to do the facilitator, there are a number of prerequisites, but everybody's welcome on, and it's not that they're not welcome, it's just to be a facilitator, you need these certain things, but everybody's invited to the Recovery of You with Ease classes. So
Yes.
once again, thank you all. I'm excited that we can all thrive through the holidays, honor ourselves, and not be a victim or, you know, get into anybody else's universe and buy it as real. So thank you so much. I hope to see you all soon. Just have a marvelous time in the next few weeks.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much, Marilyn.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining and being willing to change.
Thank you.